So as I mentioned when I introduced myself, much of my research would fall under the broad umbrella of looking at border crossing. Within that, I'm really interested in issues of social justice, equity, difference, and certainly in gender as well. And so I've done research on different topics and themes over the years. Some of my work has been based in the US, and much of it has been based in Asia, in different countries of Asia. The types of projects I've worked on have included a whole series of projects, both basic research and evaluative projects in adult and family literacy. Those would include projects with refugee populations and migrant populations, as well as with families in the US in which the adults have had limited opportunities in school. I've also done research in, more recently, for example, in extended research in Indonesia on projects about enabling transformation of higher education, both higher education policy and the organization and functioning of higher education across Indonesia, and access to higher education for students. And those projects, I worked with 20-some different universities and polytechnics in Indonesia. Those were all done through action research. So they were projects that were initiated in Indonesia by people within those institutions. I've published in Indonesia on those projects as well as in international journals, including a manual on how to use action research for change management in higher education. If you can read Bahasa Indonesia, then you have access to that book. And then most recently I've been working on an oral history project, a bit of a change for me, but with my colleague Jan Fernheimer. We received funding from the Jewish Heritage for Excellence to build an oral history collection here at the University of Kentucky through the Nunn Center on Jewish Kentucky. And to date, we have close to 105 or 110 interviews in that collection. The interviews are 1 to 3 hours each, and it's been very exciting to work on. We've had many students participating with us on the project, undergraduate and graduate students, together collecting, conducting interviews, working on indexing those interviews and making them available to the public. And there, at the moment, the writing we've been doing from that has in part been on the pedagogy embedded in this project, as well as some of the cutting edge technology that's coming out of the Nunn Center that makes these types of interviews much more publicly accessible and usable for researchers. We are now starting to work on some writing that is more focused on the interviews themselves as biographical and community records.